Hey, this is Laura with Jot and Tittle Typewriters. Thanks so much for watching today. This is part two, not part two, but this is take two for me. I sat and did half of a video with this not even recording last time, so we're going to try this again. It's been one of those days, but it's going to get better. All right, this is a very handsome fella. This is a Smith Corona Classic 12. And I'm not sure if it's a 60s or 70s. I did not look that up. But it's very clean, very handsome. Original gray color looks to be in excellent condition. Okay, let's go ahead and look around. This has a 12-inch carriage, hence the name Classic 12. And I like to recommend it for crafters because you can put your paper in landscape or portrait. Also, the Classic 12 is my favorite typewriter to recommend for a manual typewriter for those of you looking for an affordable, just really solid manual typewriter. I'm almost always going to refer you to the Classic 12. They've never disappointed me. So let's go ahead and look at this one. Right here is your paper holder. Your margins, just press and drag. All right, this is your paper guide, and that just comes in handy for smaller paper, or if you're doing a multiple page project and you want to make sure your margins, even though you have your margins set, if you load your paper in a different spot, your margins aren't going to make any difference. So that's where the paper guide comes in handy. On the right side, this releases the tension on the paper, so if it gets crooked or something like that, or you need to pull it out, you just pull that forward. That releases the tension, and you can easily adjust your paper. To move the carriage, the lever is on each side, and you just pull that in. You can hear the bell. On the left side here, when you hit the return handle, it'll advance either 1.5, or 2 lines, depending on how you want to have it set. And then also when you turn the handle, it turns the click you hear is every half a line, but maybe you need to line things up. Something's not lining up right and you need to do some fine adjusting. This, you can barely see it. It right here is a metal lever, and just pull that down, and that releases the roller. So you can do some set some fine adjusting, do some fine adjusting on that, and set it where you want. Okay, make sure you re-engage. Another way to do it is by pressing, there's a button right here. If you press that in while turning, it does the same thing. Okay, I'm going to move the carriage over a little bit to the left before I open this top, because I don't want the handle to scrape the top. So I'll pull that open. Inside, you're going to see the ribbon spool. Has black and red combo. This is a new one we've put in. If you need to purchase new ones, then you can just go to our website at jotandtittletypewriters.com, and we have a few different options for you, and they're pretty affordable. Now, there may not be a lot of ribbon on this, but there's a lot of ink, and so it's going to still last you a long time, but you're going to have to reverse the direction because you'll use up all the ribbon. Then you got to go back this way, and to do that, right here is a lever on the left side, and you just barely move it, and that changes the direction of the ribbon. You can do this dozens of times before you need to change out your ribbon. Okay, I'm going to close that. Sorry, move this back in. Down here is your tabs. Okay. Now, I was playing around with the tabs earlier. The tab is not the best tabbing system, and I find it frustrating. So just whatever, take that with a grain of salt. Okay, LMH, light, medium, hard. That just determines how hard. I'll go back here. These bars right here strike your paper, and so the harder it strikes it, the darker the font. Sometimes you can tell a difference in this, and sometimes you can't. Color selector is on the right side. And back to this was really when people used copy paper. If you're old enough to remember, it had multiple pages with inked you know, pages in between, and I'm not thinking of the right term for it. So when they would type, it would type like 2 and 3 copy sets at the same time. And so that's what this was for. Okay, on manual typewriters, often you'll see a half space or a power space. Before you press this, and I didn't test it before we got on the video, but I always like to put my hand here because sometimes and often on these typewriters, the power space, what it does, instead of power spacing, releases the carriage. So I always like to double check. So the power space does work on this, which is great. There you go. And then half space, and then regular space, okay? All right, let's go ahead and do our typing demo. All right, so we're gonna set our paper right here. And you don't need to press it down, you just set it there and then turn the handle, and that'll pull the paper through. You need to pull this bar forward. And I like to bring the paper through as much as possible because I like to see, did I get it straight? And you can see it's off a little bit. So I'm gonna pull this paper release forward, straighten my paper, there we go. And then let's go ahead and start typing. And I want to double check my margins here. I'm going to bring this in to there, make my margins pretty narrow. Okay, so this is, I'm going to say based on how it looks, this is probably a late 60s. So let's say late 60s. Smith Corona Classic 12. It could be early 70s, but I'm not sure. Okay. And this is a small font. So this is going to be really good for those of you who have longer writing projects because you're going to get more characters per line and per page. All right. So let's go ahead and do... This feels so nice. So right here, and I don't know if you guys can see the buttons, but there's a, let me push this up. There's a key, that's your backspace. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you these. This release is like if you get 2 keys stuck up there, which is pretty common. Most of us just bat them down if you're used to typewriters, but this will help release those. MR is margin release, and what that means, so when you get here and the bell dings that says, hey, you're at the end of your margin, I'm gonna stop now. But maybe you have like an ER left in your word and you just hit margin release, and then now you can keep going and finish typing, okay? Just some clarification there. All right. Oh, let me put this back up, sorry. Whoops. Backspace. Delete button, that is your backspace. You just type over it. Keep going. Oh, I lost track. Where was it? 'Twas the night before Christmas. And all through the house. Not a creature. Okay, this does not disappoint. This, oh, backspace. Typewriter does not disappoint. I think I just spelled that wrong. Oops. Point. But my spelling does. Okay, that was misspelled. This is an excellent typing machine. So normally I like to say, hey, this is good for this group or that group or whatever. But this types so well, even though this is an awesome beginner typewriter, awesome for kids, homeschoolers, college students. For those of you who like typewriters are fairly used to it, but you're also a book writer and you just want to add to your collection and you need something affordable that you can sit and work on a typewriter and on a long writing project and it's not going to be frustrating, this is a really good typewriter for you. So this is a good everybody typewriter. Everybody's going to love it. It works so well. True to the classic by Smith Corona, it has really stood up and continues to be one of my favorite typewriters. All right, thanks so much for watching. Please check out the links in the description below. Thanks for subscribing. You know, that really means a lot to us. All right, have a great day. Bye.